picture perfects conversation. I have another photo guide in front of me on my screen that I've had the pleasure to meet in passing, and then to have genuine conversations and talk about a lot of the great things that he's done and that he is doing. So I know you should know him, but I'll let him introduce himself and tell you all the dope things about himself that I know, but I think you should be up on. So, photo guide, introduce yourself to the great people.
I appreciate the introduction. Appreciate being here as well. And
Absolutely.
man, where do I start? As a photographer, I've been doing that for almost 20 years now, and really all my life because I started out as a kid with a camera in my hand. But there's a long gap between me shooting around my neighborhood before actually pursuing photography. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
But over the length of my career, I've been not just a photographer, but a model coach, an event coordinator, a marketer, as well as what my new transition is into. And from you, we've gotten to know each other through ModelCon, which is the largest modeling conference in California. Soon to
Yes,
expand
sir.
outside of that as
Boop,
well.
boop, boop,
So
boop. Big yourself up on that.
it's
Don't
been
don't
it's
just
been pretty
breeze
spread
by
out.
it. You're not just doing it. You are the man behind it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's been an idea in my mind for a long time, and I've just been growing and expanding it. So we put a pause on 2026, but we'll be back in 2027.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I saw such a success in 2025 that there's so much that goes into it. I can understand a pause, and I know you're just going to attempt to come back bigger, stronger than the last one. So that probably takes a
Absolutely.
little more planning and involvement because a lot of people probably don't understand how much that takes.
Not at all, man. Anytime I talk to somebody about it, the best way for me to describe it is like it's like planning a wedding every year. you
Yikes.
know, down to the colors, down to the guest count, there's so many different little nuances that you have to prepare for. And it
Yeah.
literally takes at least a year to just map everything out. And it definitely takes a
Mm,
team as well.
absolutely. Okay. Where you from? Let the people know.
Yeah, originally I'm from San Jose, California. It's in the Bay Area. But I've been in Sacramento for since after high school, so it's been a little bit, but I'm California native.
Okay. I like it. California in the building. I'm a 7 year. I feel like I'm from here at this point, but North Cal is a lot different than South Cal from what I'm being told.
Yeah, LA has a lot more going on. It's a bit more in the entertainment factor. In the Bay Area, we get down out there too. It's a lot cooler, because you got the
Yeah.
water there. Northern California, at least where I am, I would say it's more family oriented. People tend to move out here from the Bay because of the
Okay.
price gap, but also just to settle down, buy a house, have kids. It's more tame than LA, I would say.
Hmm. How does one from Cali navigate around that, knowing that Hollywood and the extravagant things that are happening in Southern Cal, but living in different parts? Like, does that fuel like a plan to go in that direction, or to build exactly where you're at? Like, how do you navigate through that? How did you navigate through it?
As far as business goes, well, I grew my business where I already was. I
Yeah.
think that initially when you start something up, you want to be known for as the biggest and the best where, you want to grow where you lay your head and you want
Right.
everybody to know in your local area, that you have taken over this market. At least that's how it was for me. And with photography, I definitely hit some heights in that I was doing photo shoots like at least 30 plus clients a month. And
Really.
that was at full time. So I had quit my job to pursue photography and I was booked. I was booked and busy. So I hit a
Yeah.
lot of milestones with that. And then with ModelCon, once I started growing it, it was definitely initially a change that I wanted to see in the industry in Northern California because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of talent here. But in terms of the industry, photography, modeling, fashion, you don't necessarily mention Northern California as a
Right.
central hub for that. So one of the thought processes was to make a name for the space, put people in my city on a higher platform, but also provide education about the industry and how people are doing it in other spaces and how we can grow to that level. But now through the years, because we're going on year 7 with ModelCon, I see that there's definitely specific areas for specific needs. That's just how the business works. And you have to go to where the action is. So
Mm,
that was part of the education process, though.
yeah. Okay. And the action definitely is down here in Southern Cal
LA,
for
New
what you want.
York, uh, Miami, London, Paris. There's hot spots in terms of fashion, photography, modeling. There's places in the world where it's just going to be a predominant area. And if you want to grow at a certain level, depending on your niche, you want a certain height of success, you just got to go where the market is telling you.
Okay. So there's plans to go across the pond.
Eventually, yeah, I would love to do that. I haven't yet been to Europe or Asia just
Yeah.
yet. But fortunately, it was pretty exciting last year. In terms of ModelCon, again, we did have some people traveling from Europe to Los Angeles for that event. So
Okay.
people are starting to recognize.
Absolutely. What's in your research? I'm sure you're doing research for locations and stuff like that. What's a sleeper city that you're probably looking at? Maybe presenting a model con that is probably eager to host an event like that.
Yeah, it's funny because I just put a poll up in a broadcast channel on Instagram and I said,
Hmm.
where should ModelCon 2027 be?
Yeah.
And to my surprise, actually, San Diego was one of the most mentioned.
Okay.
And I had not thought about, I love San Diego. I wish I could live there now. That's my retirement space. I love the beach. I love the weather. San Diego is everything.
Yeah.
But I had not thought about San Diego as a place for ModelCon. But I will say places like Phoenix, Arizona come
Yep.
up, Chicago. People mention all everywhere, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Kansas City, places I've never been, places no one would ever even think of in terms of fashion and modeling. But I've learned that there's a community everywhere, and
Absolutely.
it just has to make sense logistically.
Absolutely. And for what you're doing, I mean, from the outside looking in, if maybe more of my personality of trying to find the gem, but I would think like trying to find those locations that are different from your standard New York, LA, Miami would be a way to separate from what everybody else is doing. So like your Houston's, I don't know what Houston's doing down there.
Yes.
Um, a Denver, I don't know. But finding those gems because what you're adding to the community is value, and it's honestly thinking outside the box. So if you go a traditional route with untraditional thinking, I don't know if they'll understand it or appreciate it like they should. Somebody from a small town with big dreams kind of idea, right? Like you capitalize on those small towns or those personnel there. Cause I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. So we want to be like a Atlanta, Charlotte, but we don't have the resources. But if something is organized well enough there, then you can stay home and you can bring some of those resources from out of town into where you're from. It sounds like the approach that you have with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was the original mindset, right? With growing ModelCon in Sacramento,
Yeah.
underdeveloped space for the industry. No one's talking about, but there's talent there and there's interest. And so, but again, the demand is always going to be where the demand is. I
Yep.
wouldn't mind doing smaller based events like a fashion show or a some sort of networking event or smaller conference that is piggybacking off of ModelCon in these other smaller markets just
Yeah.
to shake hands, meet people, get the connections, and introduce the idea of ModelCon to a new environment. That would be dope. Like we have people coming in from Utah
Yeah.
for
Saw that.
for ModelCon last year. So there's spaces everywhere that eh, like you said, there's people who maybe don't appreciate what ModelCon is yet,
Absolutely.
because it's interesting that we put so much emphasis on education for models, but the demand from models is more so the implication or the implementation of modeling. So they would rather be in
Yeah.
front of the camera, they would rather be on stage walking the runway
Yeah.
more so than they would be in a conference setting. There's a level of interest to learn from the people who've been there before you, but the
Yeah.
desire to actually do it is greater than learning from, in a conference style. But the idea of ModelCon, it's conceptually has to be understood of how we organize things. And we definitely want to put more physical practice into the day. Right now, what we've been doing is conference day one, fashion show day two.
Yeah.
But during the conference, there's opportunities for you to shoot with photographers like yourself. There's photo booths, there's interactive areas, there's music, and there's games. And we had last year we had a hair and makeup competition. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of entertainment factor there. But by far the biggest demand is, can I walk in the fashion show?
Yeah.
Can I walk in the fashion show? And I was like, well, yeah, but we have all these other things that you can
Yeah.
participate in. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. What about the fashion show?
Yeah.
So it is a bit to get a deeper understanding of what we do, why, and how.
Yeah.
But the industry is what it is. It wants what it wants. So you have to
Yep.
deliver on both sides.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah, people are eager for the entertainment part, maybe not the educational part. Well, some are, but maybe not the bulk of the audience that comes in. So I can understand that. But is that there was definitely value there. Like I learned a lot just being there, just photographing, and hearing some of the people that were there and how they were giving their testimony, even testimonies where it's not, textbook based. It's really just from their experience that are in the industry. That's just as valuable. So if
It's
you,
so valuable. Yes.
yeah, you line up the people there that actually work in the industry, they're giving their game or their opinion on how to navigate. Like that's better than a lot of things that a lot of people can really offer them. So I thought that was a lot of value in itself.
Yeah, definitely. Because we'll have speakers there for those who don't know. Like we have professional models, those who have been on America's Next Top Model, and where that took their career, people who have been published in Vogue, people who
Yeah,
have walked for, name brand designers that we both know the names of. We have established photographers who come out that have shot for all the magazines, for all the celebrities. We have
yeah,
agencies who come out and they speak from their perspective. What are you looking for before you sign a model? What happens after you get signed? And so the education is eye opening, to say the
yeah,
least. And more often than not, I hear the frustrations of models who are, 5 years in the industry, 6, 7 years in the industry, and wondering when they're going to get their big break. When am I going to
yeah,
start getting paid? When am I going to get signed? What am I doing wrong? How do I get from where I am to the next level? And the best way, even outside of this industry, because I'm very business oriented, I've taken a lot of time into learning from other people as marketers, as businessmen, as family men. And the answer to getting to the next level is always finding someone who's been there and done that and absorbing as much information and knowledge and understanding the roadmap to get there rather than just making it up on your own.
yeah. I agree. I agree. You definitely laid that out. So people that attended should be very thankful. I want to talk more about ModelCon because I want to give you an opportunity really to highlight that journey in itself. But I'm gonna go to my first scripted question
Sure.
that I have. When did you fall in love with hip hop? So of course, I flipped it, and my question to you, Chris, is when did you fall in love with photography?
Oh man. I've actually never thought about it in that sense. So that's a pretty good question. When I was a kid,
Mhm.
I remember having a little wind up Kodak camera and just walking around my neighborhood taking pictures of waterfalls and flowers. We actually had that in my neighborhood. But in seeing those images being developed, I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't think of myself as a photographer. By the time photography came around, I got an actual DSLR camera. I was I was in the club, to be honest. I was in the club. I was a
That's
club
a great place to
promoter.
start.
It was actually because it's a great way to get to know so many people.
Yeah.
And somehow I got a camera in my hands, and I was also a club promoter. So walking around and taking pictures of people automatically gave me the introduction, automatically gave me a reason to just speak to strangers. And then obviously everybody wanted to see their photos. So
Yep.
we just had Facebook, right? So I would just put everything on Facebook, and people would come to my page and
Yep.
save their images. And so my social media started to grow in that way. So I think initially my love for photography was a social aspect,
Mm.
the social environment, getting to know, because I was always kind of a shyer person.
Yeah.
I've never been the guy that's center of attention. I'm on the dance floor, everybody look at me, and
Yeah.
I'm walking out on stage. I've admired people that can just walk up to a stranger and just talk to him for an hour.
Yeah.
And like, you know him? Like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't, that's not my skill set. So photography was a introduction for me to be more social and get to know people.
Yeah.
So I really like the environment of that and the networking that came with it. And then once I started to transition over into photo shoots and doing portraits, I really loved the response that I would get back from a customer. They would see their images, even just the back of the camera. They're like, wow, this is amazing. It looks good already. And I
Yeah.
would make the final deliverables and the response that I got from that. So I think that to answer your question, it was always in me to have this creative. I tell people that photography is my God given gift.
Mm.
It was just
Okay.
always there. And there's times where I've left it and I've come back and I felt more whole. It's just always been a
Mm.
part of me.
Yeah.
But the reasons of why I continue and the reasons why I love it, those nuances, they change depending on the style of photography that I'm doing.
I understand that completely. Similar journey, similar path. My father always kept a camera around him. And I think I just absorbed it initially because of seeing him with the camera. But then I also started to realize I saw the world differently. Um, so as soon as I did pick it up in 2012, 2013, like it was an easy transition. So I understand that from your perspective as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I've done it all at this point. Like I said, I've been shooting for a long time. So I've photographed babies, families, weddings, models, professionals in corporate space. I've photographed products. There's one time I got hired to photograph eyelashes,
Yikes. How was
and
that?
it was complicated. You start to realize, like, dang, I don't have all the equipment I need for this, you
Yeah.
know? So it's a balance, and it's introduced me to a lot of different areas in life. And
Yeah.
I've learned that I like doing weddings. I don't necessarily like photographing babies.
Yeah.
I like working with primarily adults that can take instruction.
Yeah. 100%. I think adults that can take and will take weddings. Ooh, sometimes, man, it's they show they want to do their own thing. Like navigating around that. You have to. I know you said you were coming up. You were a shyer person, but I don't know how you could do weddings and be shy. You gotta be a social butterfly. You gotta be able to float through the room so seamlessly. How do you navigate through that if that's your background of being more of a shyer person? Have you grown out of that to be able to excel in this space?
I'm always going to be who I am. I'm calm. I'm laid back, much like you. I'll be chilling. There's a bunch of
Yeah,
people there. I don't feel the need to be in the center of it. I'm more of an observer.
yeah,
But when it's my event, when it's my show, I'm the hired help, it's like a different shift in my mind where I'm more the aggressor now. Like I have to get the job done. So sometimes
yeah,
you have to put yourself in uncomfortable spaces in order to get comfortable.
Yeah,
And
agree.
with weddings, there's a mixture of both actually, because there's the photojournalism side where you're
Yep,
just capturing organic off the off to the side and nobody knows you're taking that shot and you can
yep,
go through the room and not be so in front of people's faces. And then there's
yep.
the, oh, can you take a picture of me? So to be honest, I used to wait for someone to ask me to take a photo of them so
Really?
that I could break the ice because it felt awkward. Like, hey, you want a picture? Like that was just felt weird to me. And so I would just hold the camera around and like, hey, can you get a picture? Like, yes. And then there would be a
Yes, I
line of
can.
people. So yeah, I'm still both.
Yeah, that's good. It's hard to manage. You kind of touched on it, even with the difficulties of being a wedding photographer, or you're just navigating that space. You do have to be all types of photographer, like a product photographer, a portrait photographer, right? Like you said, photojournalism, event photographer. Like there's so many hats that you wear in it that I salute anybody that enjoys to be in that space. I don't necessarily enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge because then you also have to go from shooting indoor to outdoor, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you mix in flash and the lighting changes.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's a little bit of everything. It's a fast way to learn a lot.
100%. I would advise anybody to get into it that just started, because you get very sharp in everything very fast, and you'll probably trip and bump your head, and that'll kind of expedite the process, dealing with what they call a bridezilla, dealing with all those things. I've never had that experience. That's kind of deterred me
Man,
away. It's like, man, I don't want to deal with no stressed out bride. I've dealt with a stressed out groom, and that didn't really end too well. But I can only imagine.
yeah, you see a lot with weddings. You see a lot, but especially with the couple,
Yeah,
I've done weddings where it literally makes everybody feel emotional. Like you want to cry when they do the
yeah,
speeches or they do the exchange of vows. You're like, man, this couple really loves each other. Like,
yeah,
and then you hope, like, man, I hope I could have that one day. Like, you hear their story and you're like, that is powerful. And
yeah.
then there's other weddings you're like, I don't know if this one gonna last. I don't think that this is gonna work out. But hey, I'm just here to shoot it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of everything for sure.
I appreciate your telling of when you fell in love with photography. First camera, did that camera find you? Interpret that as you wish.
That's actually funny because my first camera was a Canon T3i.
Hey, same.
Okay, okay, yeah. So and at
Yes,
that
sir.
time, like, you just think your camera is everything. It's
Yep.
automatically better than your cell phone. So every photo I took was like, wow, look at that.
Especially at that time.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
that time especially. So as soon as you get to where you have a shallow depth of field, you're
Yep.
like, oh, I could take a picture of this rock and like look how it blurs out in the background. You're like, that's cool. So there's my camera was a T3i. The story behind how I got it, I I had so this is a little bit of me in the club promoter area.
Hmm.
I was doing the club promoting. I wasn't yet a photographer. I kind of was getting uh, trying to diversify what types of events that I promote. So
Hmm.
I started going to local businesses that had smaller events that also would like a crowd. So I was like, hey, I could bring out a crowd. I have this audience here. Maybe I can bring them to your restaurant or maybe I can bring them to your poetry event. And so I met a friend, his name's Kyrie, and he had a poetry spot every Wednesday. He would do it called Mahogany. Is very known in Northern California, like over 15 years consistently every week.
Okay.
Really great poetry spot. And he was also a photographer and a poet. So my
Mm.
conversation with him was I could bring people to your poetry spot. And then it became I can refer people to your photography business. I was trying to work the different angles of how I can collect a commission for sending people to other people.
Yeah.
And when I sent customers to him for photography, I would also be in the room because I was interested. And then somehow that also just led to him saying, "Hey, you shoot it." He just handed me a camera. I was like, okay. So I started taking pictures. He taught me a little bit. Next thing you know, I wanted my own camera, and I told my dad about it, and my dad just bought one. I don't even know how much T3i is, probably like $500-600. So my dad ended up buying the camera for me, sent it my way, and I just never put it down.
Mm, I like it. So the camera chose you per se.
It did, because I don't remember doing a lot of research on specifically what type of camera to get.
Yeah.
So I actually have a confession. When when it comes to photography,
Yeah.
I am not a technical person. I just
Okay.
had this conversation recently with somebody, and there's photographers, and maybe you're one of them, where they're like, yeah, this is 32 megapixels, and the shutter speed is this, and the ISO cranks up to this, and you got to do like
Man.
this button and that button. I'm like, I don't know it. I don't really care. Like, I watch those videos. I'm like, oh, okay, that's dope. Can I shoot
Mm.
weddings with it? You know, that's dope. Yeah, yeah, great. Shutter speed, that's amazing. Can I do a headshot? And is
Yeah.
the quality going to come out great? Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna buy it from there. So I've never been super
Mm.
technical when it comes to photography. I think that's just some people have a natural eye and they can just
100%.
know if it's a good photo or a bad photo
Yeah.
and create a result off of what they see in their head.
100%. I was like that initially too. I think I got self-conscious because I started to be introduced to people that were technical, and I almost felt like in the imposter syndrome of, oh, you don't know that, then you're not a real photographer. So I actually like felt suckered into learning a lot of it. But what I did find it helped me navigate more confidently because it's like knowing your weapon. The better you know your weapon, the better you can troubleshoot if anything goes wrong. The better you could change on the fly, like you mentioned. I didn't know the basics initially,
I got you.
but I'm not the online buff of every spec. Nah, but I do understand the difference between megapixels, and I only know that because one of the cameras I had, I was like, man, at night this stinks. I was like, well, maybe you need one with higher resolution. I was like, oh, okay, that's what resolution is for. Like, I never paid attention to that.
It,
100%, 100%. Yep, I
yeah.
agree. How has that first camera led you to your current camera? You still shooting with the
Okay.
T3i?
No, you know what? I still have it. I still have it. It's over there collecting dust now. I'll probably never get rid of it. But every camera I've ever had, I've only bought out of the necessity of upgrading. So
mm,
my T3i, I literally used that camera so much that the shutter just broke.
really?
I didn't have a desire to buy another camera because my camera worked fine. People would actually, to your point, like they see my camera versus theirs, like, oh, you're shooting with the T3i, and you get the
Yeah.
little ego in there. And it's like, yeah, but I'm booked and I'm busy and people love my
Yeah,
photos. Why do I need to go and spend more on another camera when I'm
yeah.
already achieving? And so, I remember doing a photo shoot of kind of a celebrity comedian actually.
Mm-hmm.
And during the photo shoot, there was a black bar that started being diagonal in the images. And
Yeah.
then eventually I was taking a shot and it just stopped. It just stopped. So
Mm,
that was when I'm like, okay, I guess I need a new camera. And ironically, the exact same thing happened again because I ended up getting a second camera. It was also Canon. I forgot what it was.
R7, not
No,
R7.
I have the R6 Mark II right now. I think I had a 7D
Oh, okay.
or a 6D, something like that. I had got that camera and
Mhm.
exact same scenario. I just
Mm.
used it so much to the point where it stopped working. And that time it was actually not ideal because it stopped working. I had a photo shoot on Friday. I had a flight to Mexico the next day. because
Yikes.
I was hired by a yoga instructor to go film her retreat.
Mm,
So I had to go from photo shoot to Best Buy to buy a camera that, and then I had to get all these different things. I had to go to a friend and borrow some stuff to make it all work, and then
yeah.
catch a flight the next day. So
Yikes.
and now I have a non, it's a digital camera that doesn't have the shutter. So I have a mirrorless. So I don't think I'll have that issue again.
Yeah, no, you good. Love mirrorless. So
Yeah,
set
yeah.
70 Mark II or R6 Mark II.
R6 Mark II. Yep.
Yeah,
And
love that camera.
I had to get that one because I knew I was going to be doing more podcasts like this, live
Yeah,
calls, videos. I'm using it now as my webcam. So
yeah,
there are certain features that I wanted because you learn as you grow. I buy cameras, I buy equipment based off of what I need in that moment. And because sometimes people will go out and buy a huge camera,
yeah,
expensive with all these bells and whistles that they're never going to use.
yeah. Me, I'm one of them.
Some
That
people
is
are
me.
addicted. What are
Yeah,
you shooting with?
so currently, I have the Canon R5C and I have the R6 Mark III. I actually broke it, so it's at Canon getting fixed or as we speak, and hopefully I get it any day now. Um, I actually just traded in. I just turned in the R6 Mark II and the R8. I sent it into Adorama to be sold. Hopefully they give me a pretty penny for it, and I think I'm gonna get the Canon R6V.
Okay.
So I think that'll be my three camera lineup. The R6 Mark III was what the Mark II was my workhorse, and then I ended up getting the R the three at the top of the year. And I used it for like 2 months. I was doing interviews and being careless, I dropped it. And I actually sat on it. That was like April. And I don't know why I got a burst of energy this past week. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send it in the Canon. I sent it in. But then I found like I was just accumulating too many cameras. So that's why I end up, 2 for 1 with turning into two and then hopefully enough to get the one. That way I can have three cameras set up because I do want to do more interviews, more, film, more, long form content. So I do want to be able to switch from the different angles. I bought a cinema camera because eventually I wanted to get more into film. Um, and I thought I had to have that. But with the R6s, they're great cameras, especially like just video. Now you can get the job done. But eventually I do want to get into film. So I felt the need to get a cinema camera. Definitely want the three camera setup so I can set up some dynamic interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. I've considered that as well. And I'm a bit interested in directing and
Yep.
a
Same.
little bit in acting. So
Same. You got to.
yeah, we should link up and create something together.
Absolutely. Yeah, let me know. That's the point of doing this stuff like this, and stuff I've been doing here in LA is trying to build a community that is serious about the craft and just not taking themselves serious, but almost like just practicing and just getting the reps in and creating stuff and sharpening the pen and the mind and the execution so that when bigger projects come, so absolutely, if that's the vision, let's make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I do all my own content. It's just
I
me and my
see.
camera. And I've always wanted more of a production team because creative
Yeah,
minds coming together, you start to be able to implement things that you never thought of. And
100%.
like I said, the whole technical side of me not being there,
Yeah,
there's sometimes where I wish I was because even just this setup that we're on right now,
yeah.
I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I had to watch to figure it out. And I'm like, bro, I just wish I had somebody to just show me the way. Just do it.
I'm the same way. But those are people that I want to be associated with because they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. At some point, you got to sit down and watch 100 videos to maybe figure it out. And those are the people that you want to build with. 'Cause that means they're not afraid to put in the work. So I value that. And I appreciate that. So we'll definitely have to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I was just telling my daughter yesterday that exact same thing. I've always been
Yeah,
more of the figure it out as you go kind of
yeah.
person rather than the, 100 hours of research before I start anything.
Absolutely. It's paying off for you, brother. Good to see it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. First shot. Explain when you got your first opportunity. What did it look like? What was it? First shot.
Hmm. I think, well, we kind of touched on it a bit earlier
Mhm.
when I was in a studio with another photographer and I didn't have a camera yet. And he just gave me the opportunity to photograph someone that we have brought in. And weren't too bad. I mean, considering like I didn't have to set up anything, like the lighting,
Yeah.
the camera settings were all just already there. All I had to do was push the button. But the composition was there, So
Yeah.
I I still have those images somewhere. It was a model. I think she had some feather earrings on, and it was kind of
Mhm.
interesting. And then I remember taking those images back and going into Photoshop and editing them. Probably now, compared to how I edit now, is probably like just complete trash.
Yeah.
Uh, we over smooth, overexposed. You know how it goes. But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's probably it.
Okay. I like it. Those first opportunities are everlasting. What lessons have you continued to navigate with from that first shot, from that first opportunity?
Well, one of the biggest things in terms of because there's photographers who do it for just the creative expression
Yeah.
and they're not even interested in pursuing a business. And there's photographers who do both, but I've always been more business oriented. Like I said, one of the biggest lessons in that is I would not do anything without a deposit. If there's
Mm,
no deposit, you're not on my calendar at
yeah.
all. As there's been times where like, yeah, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, location, you show up, they don't show up.
Yeah.
Or you do the whole shoot and they don't have the money. And that's nothing worse than going through the process of creating with somebody. You're
Yeah.
spending an hour directing and getting all these images, and they're like, yeah, so next week. I'm like, bro, what are
Like
we doing?
delete.
What are we doing? So collect the deposit always, have your
Yeah.
contracts. Your contracts are going to grow as you grow. And there's going to be somebody that pisses you off and they're
Yep.
going to be like, okay, new rule of my contract.
Yep. 100%. Speed, first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
Um, which one matters most to you?
Okay.
Um, and I'll go back to ModelCon. If you had the opportunity and all the stars aligned, would you do it in a city like Miami, or would you want to do it in a city like New York?
New York.
Why is that?
New York is the capital of fashion.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, everybody wants to go, and people go twice a year just for the fashion. That's where the celebrities, the the biggest fashion names, the fashion houses, the biggest agencies, everybody's in New York. It's a must at some point. I don't know if it'll be 2027, but it's in the works. But definitely New York. ModelCon New York would be epic.
Okay. I like it. I love New York. New York. You use the words perfectly. Mecca. It is the energy there is just unmatched.
It is, yeah. I love it. I love it there too. Better
Yeah.
in the fall than the winter.
100%. At all costs, avoid it during the wintertime. Oh my God. At all costs. Snow there? Real snow. Like the shit you
Right.
see on TV. Um, as a photographer, do you prefer to capture your portraits with strobes or constant light or natural light?
I was 100% strobe
Yeah.
when in my journey, like I couldn't wrap my mind around continuous lighting at all. I'm like, strobe is just so much better. I felt like I had a lot of control over everything and the shadows and just everything flash. So I love flash, especially outdoors when you can
Yeah.
mix ambient light and flash together. Chef's kiss. But now I am actually primarily a continuous lighting photographer because I shoot in the studio a lot. And I ended up
Mm,
getting a VL 150. It's really
yeah.
bright. I have
Kodaks.
uh, an octabox. I think it's like 60 inches,
Hmm.
and it's very soft and even. And I have these LED lights. Now I can change colors. So the transition to switch over, I like both, but I'm
Yeah.
primarily now continuous lighting. And it's not as much control, I would say, in some regards,
Yeah.
but I like how it widens the range for different colors and temperatures.
I agree. 100%. That and because content is king, you run your video, it has the same lighting as your photos. It just makes too much sense.
Both are necessary. Both are
Hundred
necessary.
percent.
Yeah.
Outside, I'm taking my strobes. Obviously, I keep my strobes for outside. Inside, I'm gonna bring my big constant light. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, you shoot differently. With strobe, you take your time a little bit more because the flash has a recycle time. So
Yeah.
you're taking less images. You're probably a little bit more intentional. With continuous,
Very.
it's on, everything looks good. You can just hold that shutter speed down and get.
Like,
It's kind
man,
of a
I took
bad thing.
600 pictures. That's what I found with myself. You're exactly right. I'm only gonna take like 200. Yeah, I took six
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, you gotta take your shutter off a continuous shutter. That's the problem.
Well, no, it's not even on continuous. That's how quickly my trigger fingers moving.
Okay. Okay, big boss.
Last this or that in the flash. Wedding photography is a background of yours. I know you're not a technical guy, but you have one lens to shoot a wedding. A 24 to 70 or a 70 to 200. What you using?
The 24 to 70 never leaves my camera. It never leaves my camera.
Really?
I have it on there 24/7. I
Yikes.
had a 70 to 200. I have an 85. I've had a 50. I've shot with macro lenses. In
Yeah,
a wedding environment, each one of those has its place.
100%.
And you, you can't you can, but it's not ideal to shoot a wedding without a 70 to 200 or 70 to 300.
Yeah.
Get those long distance shots. But the 70, 24 to 70 all day, every day.
I never bought one. I got 24 to 105, f4, which I love. And, even it's not as sexy as the 2.8, but like and especially in the studio, that's all I use. So the versatility of that range, even with the 70, 24 to 70 is amazing.
Yeah, you mean you don't really need to go 2.8 in the studio unless you're trying to do
Right.
something specific. F4, I used to shoot at F4, perfect for
Yeah.
portraits.
Perfect. 100%. Get her done in and out. Next segment is oh snap. This one is more so for gear or something photography related that you have your eye on to purchase here soon. What is
Hmm.
that? Oh snap.
What am I looking at right now? You know, I haven't, I've kind of retired from photography.
Okay.
I have not been pursuing it. I actually got a creative burnout
Yeah.
for doing it as a business for so long.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was cranking out clients every month,
Yeah.
and I've had a lot of people in and out because I have a home studio.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of people in and out, and it just got to a point where I didn't feel like I was being creative at all. I was just pressing a button. And so I've taken a step back for the last year, 2 years from photography, but
Even from a
I'm,
content creator stance, because you're still
yeah,
creating content heavy.
I definitely want a second camera.
Okay.
So I need two. I need a tripod for sure. I need a brand new
100%.
tripod, and I want what do you call it, with the bracket where you can take the camera from landscape to portrait mode and it's still on the
Yeah,
bracket? Yeah,
yeah.
I need that for sure. Even as just me and one camera, I need
Yeah,
a tripod with a bracket that I could just interchange it this way and move the
yeah,
camera all different angles, point down. I need all of that. So probably
100%.
the next purchase I have would be a more efficient tripod.
Okay. What camera do you got your eyes on?
Well, the one you said, what's the cinema camera that you said? Your RC,
The R5C.
R5C. I've looked at that,
Hmm.
and
Amazing camera.
because I'm more interested in film and content
Yeah,
creation and trying to incorporate now other people, I would love to be able to produce at a high level like that. So
yeah,
absolutely. And when I start doing ModelCon again, or I start doing other things outside of my studio, I want to be able to just hand somebody a camera and just say, just point it at me. Just
yeah,
record and document what I'm doing because I need somebody to get the behind the scenes so I can create the journey as well.
yeah. No, good choice. Obviously, you want to stick with Canon. Do you have temptations to jump on any other brands?
Sony is eyebrow raising. I feel like I'm at the point now where even I see a portrait or a video online, I can tell that, oh, that's probably a Sony camera.
Yeah,
I feel like I can just tell because it's so sharp, is very sharp. The depth of field is very strong. I'm like, it's impressive.
yeah,
But I'm not interested in changing my entire ecosystem.
hundred
So
percent.
maybe if the camera chooses me, we'll have another conversation.
100%. I would give Sony is having the ability to have an abundance of third party options for lenses. But outside of that, like I'm good with Canon.
Shooting film or digital?
Digital, digital.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's the only thing that a lot of brands have over Canon, but the quality, I mean, all of them are great, but if you're already invested into the Canon ecosystem, it just makes too much sense to stay there.
Yeah. I would
Unless,
I would get a film camera just for the creative side of it, taking the
yeah,
time to get a shot right, maybe doing
yeah,
some landscape or some buildings.
yeah,
And so I mean that's a side of photography where there's no people involved and you're just trying to create art out of
create,
what you see is already there. That is
yeah,
maybe probably a second career of photography that I would like to do.
right? Um,
And we could talk about photography all day, honestly, because there's so many different benefits. There's so many
yeah,
different avenues, so many different
yep,
niches that you can go after. And you know if you're a photographer or not, if you
yeah,
can sit there and just play with a camera and lose track of time.
100%. And luckily, we're in the right place to talk about it. A moment that would surprise me or our listeners, a valuable lesson that you have experienced throughout your journey that you would like to share.
A valuable lesson that I've learned just through pursuing photography,
Yeah.
I would say that you have to be able to adapt.
Mm,
Times change,
yeah.
uh, equipment changes, quality changes, the
Yeah.
way what people desire in terms of how they book you or what they want to see social media wise changes.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a space where like I'm going to own my lane and I'm going to be the best at that. And I don't feel the need to alter everything I'm doing to adapt to a new world, right? But there's
Yeah.
also things that come into place where this is going to become obsolete.
Yeah.
And or if you want this to grow, then you have to do X, Y, and Z to get there. And now you start to bring in like AI into the conversation, and it has been completely disruptive in the
Yep.
photography industry, where now
100%.
it's such a low hanging fruit that brands, businesses, all the people who used to hire us are now just drafting it up And
Yeah.
there are people, rightfully so, that can't stand AI. They hate it with every fiber in their being.
Yep.
And then there's other creators that somehow adapt a little bit of it into the creative process. And even with Photoshop, you're editing images, you go, oh, let me just circle that, type this out and get rid of it in the background. And you're blending the two.
Yep.
But there's people who just completely generate things with AI. And
Yeah.
but if you refuse to adapt in whatever the world is telling you the direction that they're going in, and you just go against the grain, sometimes you could just work your way out of business.
Agreed. Agree, 100%. It's almost like the old joke that Cat Williams of taking an aspirin is not bad, but if you take a bunch of them, it could be detrimental. It's the same concept to me when it comes to like AI and the resources. Like if you're using it for what it's intended for, then it's okay. But if you're overly using it to create, and you're trying to push the needle and overdo it, then that's where it becomes disruptive, right? In a bad way. He taught me about how to use AI. It's really an assistant, right? Like it helps you think about things that you really don't have the time to sit there and think about. And if you use it as such, it really expedites your workflow. It helps to close the loop for me. Some people are having it do everything, which I don't think that was the original intent. It may have been. I don't know. But I think that's when it becomes disruptive in a bad way.
Right, right. And now even the term AI is broad because are you
Yes.
talking about content or are you talking
Yeah.
about, information or are you talking
Yeah.
about systems and processes? So
Yeah.
there's different ways to use it. In our space, people tend to they think about the images and the video content only. They don't
Yeah.
think about the LLMs and
Yep.
the systems behind it where you can now move faster and maybe there's editing tools where you can just press the button and it edits for you. You saved
I was
yourself
going to
three
edit
hours.
this video for sure.
For why it's like why not? Right. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's people get their feelings really involved with that conversation.
100%. Some of it's warranted. Some of it is a little too much, but I get it. Yeah, you've been on this earth long enough. You've seen many different phases and transitions. Like you kind of get it. We've been on this planet long enough to see a few of those things transpire. Some of that worked for the better or the good. We could talk about the cell phone. When we were coming up as young pups, like the phone couldn't do 99% of what it could do today. As old dogs, we're thankful.
We didn't even have cell phones.
And the phone we had was flip, and you had to press one button 10 times to get to the letter if you needed to send a text out. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a different
middle
time.
school was pagers.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't fortunate. That was my older brother. He had a pager, but I used to steal it.
I never had one, but the transition of technology, right? That's
Yeah,
what we're talking about. We've
yeah,
seen it happen from televisions to phones to computers to now,
yeah,
content, and it's always changing and growing, which is
yeah,
circling back to the point. If you're still on a pager mindset,
yeah,
you're out. Nobody's
yeah.
even going to talk to you. And at some
100%.
point, we have to have these conversations when it comes to how we create as individuals. I don't think digital cameras, are going to go completely obsolete, but
Yeah,
when the ability to create a quality, quote unquote, image is now so accessible to anybody with a phone or a computer,
yeah,
you have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do around this? How am
yeah.
I going to continue to stand out?
100%. Definitely a tall task, but those that want to will figure it out.
Yes, sir.
I know it's been a while, but I'm sure all that years of experience, you can answer this question. Describe your shooting style using 3 movies.
I would like to incorporate more storytelling in my photography, like
Okay.
image wise, to where a collection of images you could look at all of them and be like, okay, I can see what's happening here. This is giving me an emotion, it's telling me a story. The character or the model got from one area to the other, and I can conceptualize something from that. And I think because I watch a lot of movies and shows, and character development is a big part of what draws me in
Yeah.
as a viewer. So top movies, probably American Gangsta with Denzel
Love it.
Washington,
Love it.
uh,
My top five for sure.
Pursuit of Happiness, Will
Love it.
Smith.
Another great one. Yep.
You know, Snowfall is actually one of my favorite shows as well.
Ooh.
So, and that show seemed very cinematographic, the cinematography in that. I feel
The
like every
colors.
colors, every scene, you could just pause it and be like,
Yes.
that would be a portrait that you could put on the
Yes.
wall.
Yeah.
I don't
Now we
know how to
preaching.
do that yet. But that's my thing right now is I want to be able to create images photography wise that look like art. I don't want to take
Mm.
pictures of people because they hired me. I will. Like if somebody, it's your
Yeah.
birthday and you want a photo shoot, if it's creative enough, if it's unique, like
Yeah.
we're not holding up number balloons anymore. We're we're doing something outside the box. It's going to be artistic now. Because I used to just be an
100%.
everything photographer. Oh,
Yeah.
it's my birthday. Sure. Oh, it's my anniversary. I got you. It's this, it's
Yeah.
that. Cool. Here's the fee. Here's the fee. Here's the fee. Book it, book it, book it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I actually want to focus on the creative side of things.
Yeah.
If you choose to hire me, what's the concept? What's the idea? I don't like the idea. I'm not shooting it. Actually,
Yeah.
that's good. Can I add to it? And now we're creating something together. And the goal then would be that I would make something that's deliverable to you that you would want to hang it on your wall.
Yeah.
That I would want to have an art show and showcase it in front of other people.
Yeah.
That's the level of photography I want to get to. So when I think about films like Snowfall, where the colors and the
Mm.
is so cinematic
Love
and
it.
everything is together, I'm like, it just
Yeah.
looks like a masterpiece. That's what I
Yeah.
want to get to.
Man, you done struck a nerve, man. Especially talking about Snowfall. Let me go on a quick rant. Let me tell you this on why it shouldn't end like that. We deserve happy endings. Franklin deserved the happy ending, right? That show was too good to end like that on his downfall. Now I hope he comes back from it. We'll see, because they coming out with the spinoff here in
Oh, are
September.
they?
But
Are they? I did not know
yeah, so
that.
but we deserve some fairy tale endings. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think Hollywood would like to always end it in a tragedy, but sometimes the bad guy wins. You
Yeah.
know, and maybe he changes his life around and he does good. You know, so
Yeah,
thank you for
that
sharing
definitely
that. That
could.
was good.
Yeah, they could have went that direction for sure. And I
Yes,
almost forgot that he ended up being the one on drugs at the very end.
yes,
Spoiler alert, my
yes,
bad.
yes. If
But
they haven't watched it by now, they'll be alright.
I was actually just the ending for me was the phone call where his
His
mom,
mom shot
yeah,
old buddy.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was the ending for me. The extra scene after
Mm.
that, that was just
Yeah.
they. I feel like he could have built it back up or something, but they just
Yeah.
went completely left with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tragic scene where the mom just was like, "Nope, you're not getting that money." Heartbreaking.
Cold blooded. Cold blooded. She served that time with a smile on her face. That was beautiful. Great writing. Yeah, it was created by John Singleton, a black director, producer. But some of those stories, like it just felt so authentic, right? That when you look at it, you're like, you know, I can relate to that. I understand that. I can see that. Those are so special and timeless, like, cause we grew up in an era, if you grew up in the 90s, like you had all of those shows and those examples of, you know, functioning families and non-functional or blended families. Like it was a good representation of what life is. And it seems like a lot of times we don't get the real reality of what is life in 2026 or in the 2020s. But thank you for sparking that in me because that was special. That's why I asked that question. That was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the shy as well. And I appreciate you
Oh,
having me on. You know, it's been It's been a minute since I've been able to have a conversation with a like mind that gets, both sides of the coin.
Absolutely, 100%. It was a no brainer. Definitely in my top few when it came to launching the pod, and I wanted to have these genuine conversations to really build communities. Where can the people find you? What are some things that you're working on that you want people to stay tuned to? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, man, I appreciate you having me on again. It's been an amazing conversation ever since I started doing ModelCon LA last year. You're one of the first people that I met. Always been chill, always been cool, always showed up,
Absolutely.
always went a little above and beyond, in my opinion, of all the people who showed up. And I'm appreciative everybody who showed up for those meetups that we did. But I think we developed a connection too because of the work ethic, and I could see that. And you're definitely one of my favorite photographers in the
Thanks,
area
brother.
too.
Appreciate that.
Love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, but for me, I've taken some time off. ModelCon was 2025 October.
Hmm.
After that, I needed the rest.
Yeah.
I needed the rest. I've taken time to just work on me, my family, me and my daughter, get back to work, just clear the mind, get closer to God, and figure out what is the next step, what is the next level, how can I continue to elevate without burning myself out. And so these last few months have just been about centering myself and getting connected to that creative side of me again and taking care of just real life things.
Yeah.
But moving forward, photography wise, like I mentioned, I would love to create artistic things as my main focal point.
Yeah.
Whether it's my idea or someone else's coming together and making something that is evergreen, something that's going to last the test of time. I've never actually had an art show before. So I feel like I'm wiping the slate clean. I'm literally hitting the reset button right now. I'm hitting the reset button. I'm creating from a connection that I have just for the love of doing it and rather than for the business.
Yeah.
And with ModelCon, I'm just now putting feelers out there for 2027, and it's going to be amazing. The community is there. They've been asking. People have been like, "Hey, when's the next one? When's the next one?" I'm definitely going to be there. And like, not till next year. And there's a little disappointment behind that. It's like, okay, the demand is there, the
Yeah.
the excitement for and the anticipation is building, and I've had a lot of people nationwide, even some out the country, is saying you have to keep going. Don't let that go.
100%. Yeah.
It was too great of an experience, and so those kind of words after feeling burnout, it lingers in the back of your mind. Like I have something that I'm building, and I'm not done building it yet.
100%.
So yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of different avenues that I implement into the event, not just the conference, not just the fashion show, but interactive experiences. I'm going to give the opportunity for more different types of speakers
Yeah.
and more subjects. And the ultimate goal is we call it the three E's when it comes to ModelCon. So what we stand for is education. We want people to come, learn, take away something that they didn't know before, and be able to implement that with tangible things once they get back to their home city. There's the entertainment where we want it to be fun, enjoyable, a good time, and something that you talk about for the next weeks or months to come afterwards. And then the last E is empowerment. So we want people to walk into this space and feel that creative aura just take over them. Like they're either going to come out of ModelCon like, okay, whatever my lane is, modeling, photography, fashion, a stylist, your lane, you're going to walk out of that like, I'm on fire. My
Yeah.
brain is lit up. I know what I'm going to do now. I met some amazing people. I've heard some amazing stories. I've heard somebody go start from scratch and make it to the top. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just implement and go after my goals and dreams. So at the end of the day, that's what ModelCon is all about. And I'm excited to continue on, bring it back, work with individuals like yourself and bring people together for that.
Absolutely. I had a great experience last year doing it. I didn't know what to expect, so I probably came in a little like hesitant of like, I just want to see what's going on, but I was overwhelmed with how everything was laid out. So I look forward to whatever comes a little bit before to kind of build that anticipation, keep me locked in. Um, I definitely want to see you succeed. I appreciate your time, brother, and I'm sure you're going to win a lot of times coming here soon.
Likewise, likewise, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Picture Perfect conversation. ModelCon, stay tuned. Coming up 2027.
ModelCon underscore Christopher Pollard underscore, and then that's my personal page. And my photography page, I actually changed the name to Black Rose. So it's underscore BLKRSE underscore
Absolutely.
BLKRSE underscore on both sides of that for my photography work.
Absolutely. Y'all stay tuned to ModelCon and all the great things. Meetups. I'm sure there might be some meetups coming up soon
Yes.
where the community comes together and create dopeness together. Share knowledge, share break bread, quote unquote, and just continue to elevate everybody else as a creative. But again, brother, I thank you being on the Picture Perfect conversation podcast, and look forward to doing more with you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too, brother.